like to say it's easier after the first, but it's still pretty scary. All right.
Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today Mark and I are going to install the CRL side bunk windows, and these are the items you're going to need to complete this project.
So the first thing, of course, you need is your CRL windows. We've got a passenger side and a driver side, and we've gone ahead, reached a label maker and labeled them because this stuff looks a lot alike once they get out of the package. So we even labeled the screw package. I'm sure these are the same, but just in case, we didn't want to get mixed up. So the first thing we're going to have to do is cut out a cardboard template. So we took the side of the box that these things came in, and we'll use a Sharpie and a box cutter to make a template for the cut. Of course, use goggles and your gloves. Once the template is on the side of the van, we'll use a drill to make a pilot hole, and then from there we will cut using a jigsaw. Now this is a thin metal blade, so make sure you've got the right blade on here. Also, we've coated this with the bottom of this green frog tape just to protect the side of the van from any scratches. Make sure you've got that on there because I've heard these things scratch pretty easily. On the inside of the van, we will use drop cloths to make sure metal shavings don't go all over the place. Once the cut's made, you'll use a file to smooth it out, and then some Rust-Oleum with a foam brush to coat it to make sure there's no rust. And finally, before we put the windows on, we'll hit it with some Dynaflex adhesive. This is actually a caulk. I don't know if you need it. These things have a gasket already on there, but just in case, it gives us a little extra assurance that there's going to be no water leaks when we're driving. So that's it. Let's get started. So Tanya and I actually did get one of the windows installed yesterday, but we had a heck of a time, and the biggest problem wasn't sawing through the van, the biggest problem wasn't drilling the holes, the biggest problem was making the template, and I've got a bunch of them behind me, and they're all wrong. So here's what we decided to do. When you first get these windows, it's basically two pieces that are screwed together. So when you remove the screws, this backing frame will come off. So we're gonna put the main part of the window aside for a minute. So what we've done is we used this frame and we created a 1x2 frame out of some spare wood we had in the garage. So the idea here is this 1x2, I can now place this frame in the 1x2. It sits nice and tight in there, right? And now I can basically turn this over, put my cardboard down, lay this in, and the wood holds this completely straight. So this is exactly how it's going to sit in the van. It's not able to rock or anything. And now what I'll do is I'll use a Sharpie, and I will draw along this inside bottom edge. And that's what I will cut out and use as the template. So my template is cut, and I've gone ahead and labeled this is the top, and this will be the outside of the van, top, inside, so I know which way to face it when I get there. I've also cut a hole in it so that basically I can drop it on top of this, and then I can feel around on the edges to make sure that this is the right size. It feels good. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this over to my van and go ahead and mark where to cut.
Alright, so now we're going to do the second window on the passenger side of the van. So it's very important to start from the inside, because from the outside, the van is all one piece. You can't see this. So therefore, it's very important to use your template on the inside. Mark and I chose to go 7 inches from the back of the van towards the front passenger, and then 1.5 inches from this bar down. Can't go any higher because then you're going to be cutting into this. So we have the tape. So tape your template And then what we're going to do is we're going to drill some holes from inside the van. Then we'll take the template down, we'll go outside, we'll hang the template where those markers are, and then we'll outline. So then that way, when Mark starts cutting on the outside, he can see and he's not cutting into this bar. All right, I'm ready. I've got my safety gear on. I've got my drop cloth to catch any shards of metal. So we're gonna drill a couple holes in the templates again so that we can take the template off, go on the outside, hang the template, and then mark where the window is. All right, make sure you go reverse. All right, so now that we have the drill bits in the template, now it's time to take the template off very carefully. You want to leave the drill bits in there because that's what we're going to hang the template off. Here. We're going to take it off very carefully. Just like that. And the drill bits are still there. So now we're going to look for them on the outside. And it rained, so we needed to dry off the van so that the tape can stick. So now that we have our drill bits showing, we'll take our template. Oh, and you want to make sure that you turn this around because this is the outside. So Mark went on the inside and held the drill bits for me so I could push the template against it. So now we need to tape it. All right, so once the template is taped on, we can't really use a leveler because the van is not level. So take your ruler and just go from the top. That's 3 inches. And over here, 3 inches. We're good. All right, so now we're gonna draw it out.
Perfect. Now we got to figure out how to get that off. Okay, so we are ready to cut. So a couple of things to keep in mind. When you start cutting, pieces of metal go all over the place. So make sure you're wearing your gloves, eyeglasses, and you probably need more iron in your diet, but probably not this kind. So this, because this is going to end up flying into your mouth. On our jigsaw, I've gone ahead and put tape on the bottom. That way we don't scratch the van. I've also got a bunch of tape out here. Now when you start cutting this thing is basically going to start flopping around. So I've got a bunch of pieces of tape that as I go through and it starts flopping, I'll use the tape to try to secure it. The way you cut is also important. So ideally the last part you want to cut is up here, because at that point, once you get to that, this is all that's holding it. It starts flopping a little bit. You'd like to be able to cut the last bit up here, and then with just a little push, it goes that way. You don't want this thing falling down on you. So we're probably going to start, we'll do a pilot hole here and here. We will cut this way and stop around there. We'll do a pilot hole here. And we'll stop somewhere around there. So we've got this piece still connected. Then we'll go here. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and finally, that's be the 4th piece we do, and at that point it's probably going to fall in. So pilot holes, and then we start cutting. Let's get to it. pretty good. I accidentally got a little high here. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but so what we'll do now is we will test fit the window to make sure it fits. And I would say that fits pretty good. Way better than the last one. So a couple things left to do. We've got a lot of rough edges here. We're going to file those, and then we will hit the whole thing with some protective enamel, some Rust-Oleum protective enamel. Once that dries, we'll go ahead and we'll install the window. Okay, so the paint is dry, we've gone inside, we've had something to eat, we changed our clothes, we feel much better. Now all we've got left to do is to install this. So what we're going to do is going to put a bead of caulk right around this edge. Not sure you have to do this, it's just a little extra assurance that it's not going to leak. So just a thin bead right around the edge here, that'll make sure things are nice and watertight. So this stuff is water soluble, so you can clean it up probably about the first 15 minutes it's on there. So you just get a wet rag, which I'm going to get right now, and then we'll install it and wipe around it. Okay.
Ready?
All right, go ahead and put it in. Raise it up just a little bit. Let's do this. This is not in all the way, is it?
There we go.
All right, you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, so that window is in. I have to be honest with you, it is really hard to get these screws back in. They don't fit very well, to be honest. Oh, there's one I'm still missing there, and I got to tighten that one. So not so easy to get in, but this one went in really good. It's nice and tight. The window slides nice. I did have to turn this thing around so that the screen wouldn't rattle, but overall, it looks pretty good. What do you think? Oh, let's go look at it from outside. Yeah, it looks good. We can see some of the Dynaflex coming out, so we're going to wipe that and we will be done. So we are done for the day. We've got 2 windows out of 4. We expected to do 4 today. We did 2, so that's good enough. We will be back next time to do the front 2 windows, plus we will also start on the subfloor, and we'll release those videos soon. So if you like what you saw today, give us a thumbs up, and please feel free to subscribe if you'd like to follow along on everything we're doing, and we will see you soon.
Bye.